How's it going, YouTube? My name is LB Ninja7, your resident Mistweaver monk and favorite healing YouTuber. And guys, today is going to be a very informative video. I've gotten it requested a whole lot, and that is we're going to be going over how to manage your mana as a Mistweaver monk, because that has been just a problem since I can even remember. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off. I really quickly want to say thank you guys so much for the support lately. You guys are killing it. But let's go ahead and kick it off with some consumables. So this is the first thing that we have to kick it off with, because it's something that you can do before you actually get into a fight, is prepare yourself with some consumables. So the main one is going to be this aerated mana potion. You want to stock up on these. You see I have 153, and it's because you want to have at least one for every raid fight. How it works is you can use one every 5 minutes. So ideally you want to use one early in the fight so that you can use one later in the fight. If it's like a 6-minute fight, you want to use one about 30 seconds in, so then you'll have it up to press again and get even more mana back in the last 30 seconds. And you can get these from the auction house. There is also another potion that it gives a lot more mana back, but you have to sit still for 10 seconds and get a portion of it. So you'll get about 4,830 per second for 10 seconds. So it's really strong, but you have to sacrifice 10 seconds of healing and 10 seconds knowing that there's not going to be a mechanic that spawns at your feet. So it's a lot riskier. So you want to make sure that you know a fight before you actually pick these up, and that's why I have less of these. Next up is an enchantment that you guys can get, and that is actually a leg enchantment. You see there it says it gives me 5% mana, which is really strong. And as you see in my mana bar, I don't just have 250,000, I have 262,500. So we're gonna look here for item enchantments, and we're just gonna go to the legs and scroll down until we see the one that gives mana, and it is where is it? Maximum mana by 3%. Okay, so apparently mine says 5%, this one says 3%. But yeah, so very strong enchantment there. You're going to want to pick that up and enchant your pants. Get that extra mana because it comes in clutch. Alright, the last consumable that I'm going to touch on is in here. It's in the, right next to, where you land in Valdrakken. And you just go talk to any innkeeper can sell these. So you just talk to them, and they are these Azure ley wines. This is what I drink between a lot of pools in Mythic Plus, and you can drink these no cooldown. You can just drink them as many times per key as you want. So stock up on these. They're very nice. Now also note that if you have a mage in your group, you can grab their cookies instead and eat those between pools, and that is just a free way to do that. But these are great to have on hand, Azure ley wine. So that's the consumables. Now let's go ahead and touch on the talents. So you can actually save a lot of mana in your talents. And a lot of people do know this, but a lot of these talents are kind of slept on. So Spirit of the Crane is kind of, it's my favorite. So Teachings of the Monastery causes each additional blackout kick to restore almost 0.5% of your mana. So let's go down to these dummies over here, and let's start punching and kicking them. So let me just use a bunch of mana really quick. So it says each additional blackout kick gives you mana back. It just adds mana to your mana bar. So if I were to just blackout kick, we are not getting any additional mana back from these blackout kicks. Now if I were to stack up some Teachings of the Monastery procs, now if I press blackout kick, you see my mana bar kind of jumped up there. So over a prolonged fight, over a raid fight, or any Mythic Plus pool really, you can imagine how many blackout kicks you can get off on that and get that much mana back. It adds up over a long period of time, and it gives you a lot of mana back. The next one is not as prolonged. It doesn't have an effect that just gives you constant mana back as you play the spec, and it's how you're supposed to be playing it. It's Mana Tea. Now this one's really powerful. It cuts all of your mana costs in half for 10 seconds. So if you are in a raid fight, and say that you've been punching and kicking your little heart out, you have essence fonts out on everyone, and you're just spreading out hots on everyone, and you see that you have a lot of renewing missed out, so you're like, now is the time to cast a bunch of Vivifies, and you're about to start spamming Vivifies. Vivify, its cost adds up. Its cost is a lot. So if I sit here and spam Vivifies, if I do that multiple times throughout a fight, I'll dump my mana bar out and just use it all at once. If I know I'm about to apply Essence Font, which costs a chunk of mana, and then I have 2 renewing stacks that I'm about to apply, and then Vivify, so if I know I'm about to cast a lot of spells, then pressing Mana Tea is great. Then you press it before you go into a big bursty mana use window, and it gives you so much return. So if I spam 5 Vivifies, how much does a Vivify cast cost? Where is it? It costs 8,500 mana, so we're saving 4,250 mana with each cast. If I spam, you can spam so many in 10 seconds. If I spam 2, 3, 4, 5, it's about 1 per second. I literally could just check to see. Its cast time is 1.2 seconds. So if I spam like 8 or 9 in that 10 seconds, that's a lot of mana saved. It's like 30,000. That's a big chunk of our mana bar. So highly recommend taking that, especially in raid. It can come in clutch. So those are kind of the real 2 talents that save a lot of mana. The other one that's worth noting is Focus Thunder, but that's only if you use Vivify, and honestly, it's never worth it to press Thunder Focus Tea with Vivify. So those are the talents that save you a lot of mana, and really get used to playing around them because they can come in clutch, and you have to kind of think about them proactive or preemptively to get their best value out of them. So now I want to talk about how to get mana back in fights. So say you're in the middle of a fight, a big pull, your tank is chain pulling, and you're starting to run low. You're about 20% mana, and you know that he's about to pull the next pack. Or you're in a raid, the boss is at 40% health, and you are at 20% mana. How can you get mana back? And that is just being efficient with your Chi-Ji uses. So as you know, Chi-Ji, each kick that we do while Chi-Ji's out will reduce the cost and the cast time of your next Enveloping Mist by 33%. So ideally, we want to have 2 stacks of that or 3 stacks. Now, when we are low on mana, we want to have 3 stacks because then that Enveloping Mist is free. So if I do it with 2 stacks, it's a very efficient Enveloping Mist that's so quick, so much healing. But if I do it with 3 stacks, it's free. It costs 0 mana. You see my mana bar did not even move. So just an amazing way to use Chi-Ji is when you're low on mana, when you know mana, even if you aren't low, if you know you could become low in this fight and you're going to need mana toward the end, just really maximize the use of Chi-Ji and get all 3 stacks before each Enveloping Mist. So next up is Tiger Palm and Blackout Kick. Now we are actually going to change talents for this one. So this one is so important. As you know, we have a couple of spells that don't cost mana. Now, unfortunately, Rising Sun Kick does cost mana, so our trio of damaging spells isn't completely free. It doesn't cost that much, but it still adds up. But Tiger Palm and Blackout Kick are completely mana free. So is Chi Burst, but we're basically going to talk about Blackout Kick and Tiger Palm. So as you remember, every additional stacked up Blackout Kick that we cash in will give us 0.5% of mana back. Now, if we are low on mana, or in that instance where the raid boss is at 30% health and we have 15% mana, and we need to start learning how to stretch that mana bar to fill more of that time of the boss being alive, then the best way is to, during downtime of a boss fight, if you don't need to do a ton of healing, if your Disc Priest is ramping, if you know there's plenty of cooldowns out, if you just know that you're between big mechanics that are going to require healing, and it's just downtime, then cycle Tiger Palm and Blackout Kick. This is the best advice that I've kind of had to teach myself recently. So we're going to just dump a bunch of mana, and then I'm literally just going to press Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick. I don't care that Rising Sun Kick is off cooldown. I'm going to Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm. Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm. Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm. And you see my mana bar just is going up. There's nothing taking it down because all my casts are free. We're still doing healing through Ancient Teachings, and we are getting mana back. Now, this is really good in raid during downtime, but it is so important to utilize this in Mythic Plus especially, because if you know that this pack that you're on isn't gonna kill you, you're toward the end of this pack and you have it CC'd, you have the main threat killed and you're just killing these other ads, then why are you still spinning Crane Kicking? Why are you Rising Sun Kicking? If you're low on mana, if you know you're about to pull the next pull, just start cycling Tiger Palm and Blackout Kick and get some mana back leading into the next pull. You'll see me do this so much, especially if you catch my streams, because I mention it more there on stream. But you just, I mean, it's free. It is free, and you're actually gaining mana. It's the only way to freely get mana other than like these potions, but you have to wait 5 minutes for that. You don't have to wait for Tiger Palm Blackout Kick. So also if you're on Phaline in Mythic Plus, you know, your Tiger Palms hit twice and your Blackout Kicks hit 3 targets. So you're just getting more of those procs. So you're just stacking up more with each Tiger Palm and then hitting more with your Blackout Kicks. Yeah, so you guys have to just be conscious of this. If you know everyone's at like 95% health in your raid, you don't have to go crazy, you know, hit Vivify on its cooldown or Essence Font again if you still have like 5 seconds left on Ancient Teachings. Literally just Tiger Palm Blackout Kick. That is the best tip that I can give you guys, and that's why I've spent the most time on it. But now I do want to talk about something else. In Mythic Plus, if you are in a party and say that you've been mid-pool, you're pulling, you start to notice your mana bar's low, and you have a couple of Renewing Mists out on people, if everyone needs healing, everyone's at like 80% health, for example, then don't Vivify the person that has Renewing Mist on them. Vivify someone that doesn't. Whenever someone sends me in VODs, this is something that I see all the time, and they always say that they run out of mana, but they're always just spam healing, or they'll Soothing Mist one person and Vivify, and by then they're full health, so the Renewing Mist has jumped to someone else, and it's just, you just gotta use the cleave. You gotta utilize the cleave and get the most healing out of every global cooldown possible, and if all but one person has Renewing Mist out and they're all at the same percentage health, then just use your brain, hit that person that doesn't have Renewing Mist out, and get those extra cleave procs. Now, this next pull is going to apply strictly, or this next tip is going to apply strictly to the Mythic Plusers. And this is something that I had to teach myself when playing Resto Druid, and it has carried over and really carried my Mythic Plus pushing. And that is to let your HOTS heal your group between pools. If the whole group, I wish I could take damage. I'm sure there's a way I could take damage in here, but I just don't spend enough time. But if the whole group is at like 80% health and you kill a pack, and you're at like 50% mana, you're fine to go pull that next pack as long as you don't know, or as long as you know you won't need like 60 or 70 or 80 or all of your mana for that pool. So instead of sitting there healing each person up, heal, and then healing this person up, and then, you know, like instead of making sure everyone's at 100% health, just Essence Font, use your 2 Renewing Mist charges, and we can Renewing Mist this guy, and then like start eating or something. Like start eating for mana while the rest of your group starts slowly ticking up on those heals and going to the next pack. Now, there is something to say for some of the affixes. Some of the affixes are kind of less friendly to between pack healing, so watch out for that, I guess. But that is going to do it for this video. It's a couple of things. It's honestly, it's something that you have to get used to, and that is primarily those smaller tips of in-combat healing. But there's so much prep that you can do beforehand by swapping around some talents, using spells that are very mana efficient like Sheilun's Gift more often than stuff like Essence Font in Mythic Plus. I mean, 18,000 mana for Essence Font only healing 5 people. Those, you just get so much less value from that hot. Whereas in Sheilun's Gift, healing all 5 people for like a third of that mana is so worth it. So hopefully this helps some of you guys. It's just been something that's been on my mind, and I've had a couple people request it lately, so I just wanted to get this video out, get a couple tips out there, and hopefully you guys can take these and become better Mistweavers, because guys, this new tier set's coming out actually, which is going to solve a lot of our mana issues, but there will still be some fundamental things that you guys are going to want to have down, and some tips like these that you're going to want to have be used to before the tier set hits. So that's going to do it for this video. I really appreciate you guys sticking around, watching it, and also if you want to request a video, I actually have a Discord channel where I accept video suggestions, and I'm actually working on this one. Shout out to this guy. He has been requesting some videos, and I will leave the link down below if you want to get into my Discord. So definitely do that. If there's something that you just want to see me talk about, let me know down below, and also come hang out with me. It's a fun time, and so far it's mostly just me talking in the Discord, so I would love to have more people there. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe on your way out if you're not already. 10.1 comes out in less than a month. There are so many Mistweaver changes So many healer changes. The meta is shaking up right now, so you're not going to want to miss a single thing. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.